Hi, welcome to AleoTalks. My name is Alec Davis, and today I'm joined by my good friend, CJ McClanahan.
What's up, everybody?
Today, we're going to be talking about how the world has systematically fucked me as an individual because I'm left-handed, and they may have fucked you too. We're also going to be talking about Area 51 and why I think that it is our duty as a society to raid it so we can find out if there are aliens in there, and we just may be able to clap them alien cheeks. We're also going to be talking about furries and why I think that they aren't so bad and that they are opening up the world for us as normal people. And lastly, CJ, today we're going to be talking about Spiderman, him leaving the MCU, why it is just a bad decision on both Disney and Sony's parts. So, let's get started. Now, I am Alec Davis. This is a new podcast, so you don't know me very well. I'm 22, live in West Virginia, and I'm a chef. CJ, how about you introduce yourself a little bit?
I'm also a chef, and I'm almost turning 21, finally. Can't wait. And I also live in West Virginia.
So, you're probably wondering, well, what makes this redneck piece of trash from West Virginia think that he has any good ideas that he needs to spout forth to the world? And I'm here to answer that with, well, I don't really, but I like to talk. Talking is what I do. So, I feel like, fuck it, let's make a podcast. Let's give the people what they want. They want to hear from me. Not really, but that's what we're going to do.
Give it a shot at least.
Yeah, I mean, what's it going to hurt? The worst that could happen is I tell you a little something that brightens your day. You're driving home. You think, hey, do you remember what Alex said on the AleoTalks today? He said that I got fucked by the world. That's why I still live with my mom. That's why I drive a beat down car, is because I'm left-handed and the world has decided to fuck me. And that makes me realize maybe it's not all my fault that I didn't graduate high school and I don't know how to read. So that's what we're going to be doing here today, folks. So, to start off, we're going to be talking about left-handed people. Now, CJ, as you know, I'm left-handed.
Yep.
And I've just been bent over and absolutely fucked by society because I'm left-handed. Because you gotta think, I don't get scissors. My handwriting is much worse than everybody else's, which I'll take the fault for that one, but generally, left-handed people have bad handwriting.
It's okay, mine's pretty bad too.
Working in the food industry, I work with scoops, portion scoops, or ice cream scoops, as most people call them. They don't make left-handed scoops, and I can't tell you how much that's impacted me as an individual because, you have to multitask. I'm doing things with both hands, and I can't focus if I'm using my non-dominant hand for something while I'm trying to do something else. It doesn't work, it's not compatible, and it impedes me on a level that I'm not comfortable with. Now, CJ, you're right-handed. You don't know what it's like. So, CJ, have you ever been the person to go into school and you take the weird-looking desk with the wooden part that you write on the other side? Have you been the person to take that desk?
I have sometimes, but I've never liked it.
Well, CJ,
it never works.
Not only have you just fucked me, you fucked every left-handed person in that class, because that desk is for left-handed people. And that's not cool, my friend. Because that desk, I would say it was absolutely 100% necessary for me to make it through that class, because I can't write on a regular desk. Now I can, but I'm being picky. I don't have anywhere to rest my elbow on a regular desk. And that fucks you. That fucks you hard. Alright? So, I'm a victim here. I am almost as oppressed as all minority groups in the world because I'm left-handed. Now, being left-handed, it gives you a lot of liberties. You get perks to being left-handed. Being left-handed has been shown that you use both sides of your brain a little better than right-handed people. They've been shown to be more artistic and creative, and they have also been shown to be better at sports, right? So technically, I have an upper hand on you in those categories, but at the same time, I don't necessarily need to be creative very often. I don't play sports. I'm kind of fat. I'm not a sportsy man. So, I don't feel like I've gotten as much of an upper hand as those facts lead us to believe. Now, being left-handed is very difficult. I don't know how many of you are left-handed, but if you're writing with a pencil or ink, when you're writing and your hand drags across that ink, your hand is going to be stained for the rest of the day or until you wash your hands, whichever comes first. Hopefully you're washing your hands fairly frequently. But it's just, it's not fair. They don't make things left-handed as they should. I've played golf several times. Not a very big golf advocate, but I've played a couple rounds of golf in my time. Do you know how hard it is to find a left-handed golf club, CJ?
Pretty hard.
It is extremely hard. And then, if you do find them, they're not nice golf clubs. They're not proper golf clubs. They're shit golf clubs that are from the 70s that nobody's touched since then, and they suck ass. Now, that particular instance probably doesn't apply to everybody, right? Who plays golf?
Not everybody.
Not a lot of people. I feel like it's mostly old white men or Tiger Woods. That's about it. But that's just an example. Baseball gloves. I don't play baseball, so I don't really have any bias there. But I'm sure that's a lot harder to find a left-handed catching mitt, But it's just, it's not fair. And I, for one, am tired of the world systematically bending me over and just railing my asshole because I'm left-handed. I want rights too. I want left-handed scissors. I want to cut something out and make it not look like shit. Now, I'm not using scissors every day here, people. I'm not. But the times that I do, I feel like I'm being fucked because I don't have regular scissors like you. And I feel like I'm at a disadvantage because of that. Because nobody has ever went, oh yeah, we need to get left-handed scissors. Nobody says that. Or when I buy a Coke or a Monster or something to drink, when I'm drinking it, the label's not sticking out. How are people going to know that I'm trashy enough to drink a Monster if my label isn't sticking out? It won't stick out because I'm not right-handed. It's not being held the way that it should be. And the label is facing the inside of my palm. People aren't going to know that I'm white trash. They're not going to think, oh, that's a Kyle right there. They're going to see me and they're going to go, man, that's probably a normal dude drinking a normal drink. He's not white trash, and I'm not comfortable with that. Now, CJ, I want you to tell us the experiences you've had with left-handed people, and maybe some areas where you've seen them have struggle, or maybe ways you think we could improve on treating left-handed people, or if you just think this is all a bunch of bullshit, man. Just, really let loose. Tell me how you feel.
Yeah, we could we could fix some of the stuff. We could elementary schools push the desks farther away from each other instead of like pushing them right beside each other.
Now,
The elbows hit a lot.
yeah, how often have you had a left-handed person bump elbows with you at school?
Pretty
Because
often.
it's
Pretty
uncomfortable. It's not nice. Sometimes you're sitting beside a jackass that you don't want to be touching elbows with. You're not sitting next to the cute girl with pigtails trying to share her juicy fruit gum with you. You're sitting beside the kid that smells like shit, that has holes in the shoes, and like he looks dirty. You don't want to touch that kid.
Nah.
Okay? And sometimes that kid's left-handed. He might grow up to be the next Bill Gates. He's probably just poor right now. He's having a hard time at home. But right now, you don't want to be touching that kid. Now, CJ, do you have any other instances of like left-handed instigations, or like where you've encountered a left-handed person and you've seen them have trouble? It could be me, for example.
I've seen Alec have some problems. I'll be honest, I don't remember very many left-handed people. I don't remember a lot of people. But I know Alec, and yeah, I've noticed he's had some problems in the kitchen trying to keep stuff going because he's left-handed. Some stuff is messed up.
It is. It's just, I feel at a disadvantage. I feel like women have been pushed aside. They don't get opinions. They weren't allowed in politics for so long. I feel like the new woman of the modern age. I really do. I gotta tell you, CJ. Now, one last little go around on the left-handedness, because I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing about me, bitch. Right? Oh, Alec, you're left-handed. It's not that big of a deal. Now, let me tell you something that every left-handed person has encountered, and I know this to be a fact. Every left-handed person, when they tell somebody that they're left-handed, they're like, they see you cutting something with your left hand. They see you doing something with your left hand, as you do because you are left-handed. They say, oh, I know blank who's left-handed. I'm sure you've done this, CJ. So, it is annoying in its own right, because it's not like we're in a club together, right? Like, left-hand people, there's no club. You don't all know each other. It's annoying. So, I'll be like, say it was back when I was in school. Somebody saw me using my left hand. They're like, oh, you're left-handed? Well, my brother's cousin's uncle's roommate is left-handed. I don't give a shit. I don't know this person. I don't know him. I don't care. Being left-handed is not something that unifies people in that kind of way. Now, what I'm doing here today is to unify us as left-handed people, to say, to put our hand down and say, we are tired. We're tired of being the fucking the 1%, or I think it's actually 10% of people that are just undermined. We're at the bottom of society here, folks. People don't care about us the way that they should, and that is an issue. All right. So I mean, the next time you see somebody that's left-handed, don't tell them, hey, I know blank who's left-handed. Say, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm happy for you. Do you want this left-handed desk? How about this pair of left-handed scissors? I respect you as a person. You're not the bottom class to me. You're still a person, and I respect that. But it's hard. It really is. All right. Now, for our next topic, CJ, I feel like you'll be able to relate a little more to this one. Area 51. And why people are going to storm it, right? So it's a little bit of an old meme. It's been going on for a little while now. Everybody knows about it. It's like, I believe it's about 3 million people they've signed up to storm Area 51.
Really kind of hope people actually go to it.
Now I'm sure that 3 million people aren't actually going to show up. Now, CJ, how many people do you think are actually going to show up to this thing?
I really, really hope there's at least 1,000.
I was thinking about 1,000. Solid between 750 and 1,000 people. I think
Sounds like a good number to me.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I feel like if that many people show up, we have a chance. Now, I've never heard of, anybody in the history of, the U.S. ever doing something like this.
I haven't either. It's going to be really interesting if it really happens.
But if it does happen, how do you think they're going to react to this? Do we really think that these people could shoot down, let's say, 1,000 people? Do you think that these soldiers have it in their heart to shoot down 1,000 people? Because you have to remember that, even though they are soldiers, they have hearts. They're people like us. They like the memes. They like the funny stuff. They want to know just as bad as us, because I'm sure not all of them have the clearance to know about it. They want to know if there are aliens in there, and if they can, in fact, clap those alien cheeks.
Yeah, we gotta know those things.
But do you think that they would actually shoot all those people down? If it's 1,000 people, do you think that those soldiers would be able to do it?
If they probably really have to, yes. But they'll probably try to do as much as they can to avoid that. But I could see it happening if they really have to an extended limit.
Now, do you think they'd be reprimanded if they didn't shoot them down? If they say, I can't do this, I'm not comfortable shooting down American citizens for something that, it's natural to be curious about these things.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that they'd be reprimanded if they said, I'm not comfortable working here on the 20th of September, I believe it is. Yeah. I'm not comfortable with the thought of maybe having to shoot down fellow Americans. Do you think that they would be reprimanded or, in trouble for that?
I'm not really for sure. I'd say maybe, just because it's the government and they're pretty messed up.
Yeah, I mean, I second that opinion. Now, what I really want to get at with this topic here is, so I feel like we need to know if there are aliens. And not for the reasons you're thinking.
They're hot.
Okay, CJ, you know where I'm going with this. If I don't care about space travel very much, is it important? Yes, I'm sure. This planet is finite. We only have so many resources here, and eventually, if humanity hopes to survive, we need to get off this planet. Eventually, not in my lifetime though. And whatever I can do to progress that learning, I will. No, I'm not smart, so I'm sure there's not a lot I can, but I would. But why I think that it's important that we, go into Area 51 and see what they got is so that we can find out if there are aliens in there and to see if they're hot. Because I want to clap those cheeks, guys. To be quite frankly, I want to clap those cheeks because you don't know.
Never know.
You don't know. There could be.
What they can do.
They could do crazy things. Okay, I believe it's Total Recall with the 3-boobed alien.
That'd be pretty sick.
That's amazing.
Can you a motorboat?
Can you imagine 3 titties at one time? CJ, we could both, with Alina, my wife, with her permission, we could motorboat the shit out of those alien titties, and we could clap those cheeks. CJ, you don't know the alien anatomy. No, okay, they could do crazy things. What if their genitals, male or female, whatever your preference is, I don't care. You can sleep with the male aliens or the female aliens. I don't feel like there's that big of a difference between the two because they are, in fact, aliens. So, if you're going to... I don't feel
even
like...
if they have genders.
They
might not even have one.
They might not. I don't feel like you can get mad at somebody for sleeping with a gay alien if they're willing to... like a boy alien if they're willing to sleep with a girl alien. Because they're aliens.
They're aliens. Whole different gender.
It's like getting
mad. They have a gender to themselves.
Yeah, they could have their own genders. What if they have 2 completely different genders? It's like a phlebus and a floribus, We don't know. But they could do amazing things. What if they're stretchy? All right. What if you're clapping those cheeks?
Elastigirl.
Yeah, and one of them just decides to swoop around there and give you a rim job while you're doing it. That could be amazing. That would open up so many areas for us. And in sexual activity as humans. Now, I'm not a very sexual being, you know? I haven't been with a billion girls. I'm not sure anybody has,
Nope,
but you
I
know,
haven't.
but I feel like it is absolutely necessary for us. Because what if we find something that we like? Like, I feel like it would help us find a new sexual identity as a society. Because as we are right now, you know, we're not super open about sexuality. I feel like that's part of a problem with teenagers getting pregnant. And I feel like we're open in the wrong ways about it.
We gotta go towards some different things.
We do. And if we have alien cheeks to clap, that could open up a whole new world for us. What if it gives us a scapegoat so we can say, hey, we're not comfortable with you having sex with aliens, but now I'm open to talk about sex with other humans. Like, maybe it's not so bad you're sleeping with another guy now, because you could be sleeping with an alien.
Yeah.
Now, I don't care if you're sleeping with men or women. I don't care. That's your business. That's your body. I don't care. It does not affect me whatsoever in the slightest bit. But for the more closed-minded people, you know, it could open up a conversation for us to have. It could say, all right, you know, you're gay. That's all right, because you're not fucking this alien right here. Now, I'm not saying that it would necessarily even be a bad thing if we were fucking these aliens. I think it would be interesting.
Yeah.
What if they have, like, some kind of vacuum thing inside of them? Then you're getting, like, sucked off while you're clapping the cheeks. While you're clapping the cheeks, CJ.
Be a nice time.
It would be amazing. What if they have technology to give you like an out of body experience? Have you ever wanted to be weird and have your watch your significant other have sex with somebody, but you don't want them to actually have sex with somebody? Boom. You find this alien technology. You find this alien technology. You have an out-of-body experience. Next thing you know, you're sitting in the corner of the room while you, at the same time, are going to town on your spouse. It opens up.
So you're just watching yourself.
Yeah, like you know, there are people with fetishes to where they want to see their wife be taken by somebody else or their husband,
but
which I don't agree with. I don't like that. I don't want that. You know, I mean.
Your woman is your woman.
That's how I think. But CJ, I am not one to tell somebody what to do in their relationship. If somebody wants to let old boy go to town on their wife, then that's their business. Yeah. As long as they're all consenting adults, they can do whatever they want. But
the aliens, that's a whole different story.
But it opens up this whole new possibility of things that can happen and can be done. You know? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, alien, I feel like some people might develop alien fetishes because of this. They might say, hey, you know, I don't want to do it with regular people. I just want the aliens.
Avatar did that for me.
Yeah, so, you know, this opens up ways to get the weirdos out of society. If somebody says, hey, I just want to fuck aliens for the rest of my life, that opens up possibilities for us to get them to stop breeding even. So we don't have these people reproducing. We're only sending the positive genes forward down the line. So we don't have stuff like people having weird alien fetishes.
I don't know, unless the human anatomy connects with the alien anatomy and we get some weird alien hybrid human babies.
Now, you see, that's what I wanted to talk about next.
Get some weird powers.
Yeah, the possibility of
superheroes.
Hybrids.
Almost.
Hybrid. Human-alien hybrids. Now, you know, I would say it's reasonable to think that if, you know, they're similar enough to us for us to be able to engage in, you know, relations with these aliens, that it's not completely to be ruled out that we can't reproduce with these aliens.
But maybe some of them we can. Some
Some
of them we can't.
I mean,
You never know.
I think that it's not too much to say, hey, we might be able to reproduce with these aliens. So, what I'm getting at is, would you be alright if there were alien human hybrids running around? Now, for the beginning of this a little bit, we'll say that that they don't have anything special about them. They look different. They just look half alien, half human. They're not special. They're not strong or fast. They don't have telekinetic mind powers. They're not even necessarily smarter than us. Would you be okay with that, or do you feel like it'd be immoral?
Nah, I think it'd be okay. I mean, there's a lot of different other people in the world, and everybody looks different. Everybody's their own person, even if they are alien hybrids of human and alien.
Now, what if these aliens were stronger than us? What if they were like a superior breed? What if they were what Hitler thought white people like non-Jewish people were, or white people were to minorities or Jewish people? What if they were stronger and faster and smarter than us? Would you still be okay with that?
Yeah, as long as they'd help us out and teach us some stuff that we don't know. And if they could help us in our daily lives, by becoming, I don't know, firefighters that could, if they're stronger, they could help lift stuff up if needed.
Now,
or break something.
I think I would be okay with this. But at the same time, that opens up the possibility to, what if they all would get together and come after us as like normal human beings? Do you think that would happen? Or do you think that they'd have it in them to be like, okay, we might be superior to them on some level, but we will live with them, like they're hybrids, but do you think that they would find themselves superior and wanting to like take over in any sort of way? Because in modern society today, we still have people that are racist. We have white people, everybody. You have racist people in every race, every gender. Like, everybody's racist.
If there's aliens, you couldn't be racist to anybody, because there'd be so many races, then you'd just be alone. Constantly.
But do you think that the alien hybrids, if they were truly superior to us, do you think they'd be racist against us normal humans? And do you think they would try to take any action against us to overcome us?
I think it just depends on how they think, just like a human.
So what you're saying is, you think it'd be like regular people now? You'd think you'd have some that were okay racist or speciesist or whatever, and some that were normal, law-abiding alien people.
Yeah.
Alright, I get that. I think...
But then you'll have your old redneck ones that will try to be racist to them. Yeah. But then you'll have your normal people that you're like, okay, they're cool. And then aliens also. You'll have some that probably will hate us, and then some that will be okay with us.
I agree with that. Now, this is all presuming that aliens exist. Alright?
Which we can't be the only ones here in this whole place.
I would agree with that. In the universe, there has to be aliens.
There has to be something.
There has to be some alien cheeks out there that we can go clap as human beings. Now, do you think that they are here or not? Do you think that if and when, because I'm sure eventually we are going to find out, whether we break in September or not, these secrets have to be uncovered sooner or later. Do you think that we're going to find out if aliens have visited? Like, do you think they have or not?
Definitely. I mean, look at all the Egyptian hieroglyphics and stuff. That has aliens written all over it.
Do you think so? I think that it can be explained through
some stuff.
Through normal phenomena. But
there are hieroglyphics with like spaceships.
I think so. Do you think that so you think that that's directly related to aliens? You don't think that that's like speculation among older civilizations? You don't think that maybe the Egyptians were interested in life beyond ours as a society like we are? Do you think that's something that's just in our DNA, to wonder if there's other life out there, that there are different beings? Do you think that's unreasonable for them to think up, or do you think that it was aliens they visited? Do you think which of those?
I feel like it could be a little bit of both, but what I was thinking is, back in the day, I mean, nowadays we have so many stories about everything. I mean, we have dragons, we have everything, wizards. I mean, you never know. Not one. I mean, it's almost like background history on, like, I feel like everything that we have written, someone has seen and just passed down, and maybe everything has died off.
Okay.
A long time ago, but it's almost like the Bible. Someone's wrote it, and then it got passed down.
It's been exaggerated.
It's been exaggerated, but something back then...
It sparked that initial story. That legend, as you may say. Yeah. Now, I get that. Now, I do believe that there are aliens out there in the universe, for sure. There's no way that we are the only living
Can't be
being.
the only thing.
But I don't know if I would necessarily say that they've been here, because, I mean, what resources do we have that would be, you know, a necessity for them to come here? Or do you think they'd just be coming here to see how we're doing, to see how we're evolving as a species, to keep an eye on us? Because you'd have to think, they're light years away from us. Do you think it would be in their best interest to fly light years away to come check on us? Do you think, because they wouldn't be able to communicate with their species very efficiently from this far away, so by the time they would come here and go back, assuming that, you know, all scientific properties right now, what we know about being able to travel only almost the speed of light, do you think that it would be beneficial to them? Because they would fly here, and by the time they got back, their loved ones would be much older than they were. Because I don't know if you're aware of this, but to my understanding, if you travel about the speed of light, you will be moving so fast that time will move slower for you. Yeah. So you'll be moving, and say it's a year for you, it would be like
8 years.
8 years for us.
9.
No, I'm not sure if those are truly accurate numbers, but that's just an example. So if they were to travel,
unless they age differently than us.
Yeah. So if they were to travel 10 light years, they get back, it's been 80 years there at their home, or no, yeah, let's say 80 years. Then, you know, assuming that they age like us, their loved ones might be gone. So, do you think it would be worth it for them in the end?
I mean, it could possibly be. I mean, you never know what's on their planet and what's on ours. I mean, we know what's on ours, but we never know if they don't have a resource that they can't get on their Earth, and they find it on ours that they maybe need little bits of at a time if they do need to come here.
Now, do you ever think that we as a civilization will get to the point where we feel it necessary to scout out other planets, maybe other civilizations, to keep an eye on them, to check them out? Do you think we'll ever be somebody else's aliens?
I feel like other aliens do feel like there are other aliens out there. I mean, who knows? I mean, unless they do travel like more than we can and do more than we can. But they could also maybe just, or we need to, I don't know if we would go see what they're doing. Maybe some people were, but then as humans, we would probably try to go attack them and probably try to steal their resources, or maybe it probably just depends who's getting ran by who.
Now, I feel like if we were to ever obtain, you know, the means to travel like this, I feel like it's in human nature to try to
go visit and greet.
Well, I would say that we would try to conquer them, because I would almost say it's in human nature to take what you have, what's at your disposal almost, and just try to take it for yours. Yeah. There's such a hunger in humans that's how it's always been. Want and need. For example, the rainforest fires that are going on right now. What has happened, to my knowledge, now I may be incorrect, I'm willing to be corrected if that is accurate, if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, what has happened is the new president or whatever he may be, in that general vicinity, I believe it's Brazil, but once again, I'm not 100% accurate. He is pushed to have a stronger like market built on farming and lumber.
Yeah,
and
he
whatnot.
wants the forest to burn down.
Yeah, he wants to work off of the rainforest for their benefit to push them into a higher world power like status. Not necessarily a world power, but they want to move up. And I do understand that to an extent.
It's also destroying our Earth.
But they're destroying the Earth. And if people are willing to do that to our own planet, do you think that they would be willing to do that to other planets? Because I would argue that they would be.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we're going to try to go to Texas in a few months, and I heard the Alamo is covered. Alamo. I mean, that should be respected. I mean, a lot of stuff happened there, and I've heard that there's flashing lights and flashing signs all over it promoting it, and I just think that's not good because I mean, it's something that shouldn't be like that to be advertised like that.
Yeah, so
as a visiting place.
I would argue that if we ever did reach that point as a society to where we had the means and the ability to go to other planets, I would say that we need certain laws or bylaws or whatever it may be to restrict us from being so as greedy as we are on our own planet, because right now we are killing our planet for the benefit of us at this current time. Now years on, maybe not even years, we're seeing side effects of it right now. We're already seeing problems that are arising because of the way that we treat our planet, which is a very big issue. It's going to affect later generations more than it will ours, but there will 100% be side effects from what's happening now.
Definitely.
So I think that because of that, to try to bring this full circle, I think that we are going to have to find a means off of this planet. So in fact, I think that one day we are going to be somebody else's aliens. We're going to get caught. A few of us are bound to get caught on their planet. We're going to get captured into their Area 51, Area 69, whatever they call it. And then they are going to be trying to clap our alien cheeks. I think it's going to come full circle, guys. I think that, in 1,000 years, 2,000, whatever it may be, I think eventually we're going to be the ones having our cheeks clapped.
Maybe it won't be. It'd be maybe by force. You never know. They've already made up a probing. They've already heard. We've already heard of probing.
People are weird, and I think that we'll have evolved to an extent by then. And I think that some of us may be okay with getting our cheeks clapped when we get captured.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not by force. I think some of them might be willing. Now, I hope they're not getting their cheeks clapped by force, because that brings up other problems.
Yeah.
Now,
what would happen to us?
Now, do you think aliens, if we did find them in Area 51, do you think that they would be, if they were released, do you think they'd be protected by the laws that we have now here currently? Or do you think we'd have to construct new laws around these aliens for their protection? Because there are surely people that would hate them. They wouldn't want to clap their cheeks. They would want to slice them and slash them and harm the cheeks. We don't want to harm the cheeks.
No.
We don't. We want to make love to the cheeks. We want to kiss the cheeks. We want to spank those cheeks. We don't want to harm these cheeks. Do you think we need to come up with new laws to protect those alien cheeks?
Yes, because I feel like yes and no, because a lot of our laws now are respected by everybody, and they shouldn't be forced by other, like our laws against religion and species or religion or race or whatever. We should be respectful at all times, but yeah, we'll probably definitely have to do some more laws, because people would try to hurt them. It would be
So you're saying that you don't think that they would be covered under the laws that we currently have. So
no,
like
they would. We definitely probably have to get some.
So like laws like you can't murder somebody. Do you think that they don't count as like a person? Do you think that they would count as another type of like? Do you think we'd have to? Do you think they would count as like a whole nother species and they want to be counted as persons? Kind of like the how back when slavery was a thing, you know, we couldn't, like, black people weren't considered people. Do you think it would be kind of like that?
I mean, I hope not.
Like a 3/5 vote type of deal.
Yeah, I hope not, but that's probably what would happen.
Now, if these aliens were born here, say 2 aliens come, they've been living in Area 51, and they've bred, they've had a baby. Do you think that baby should be considered an American citizen? Because by law, if somebody is born on United States soil, they're an American. So do you think that those alien babies would be in fact American citizens, and do you think they should have a right to say who the next president is, or to vote, or any of these things? Do you think that they'd have a right to that?
I think so, because I mean, as long as they get the education that they need on our government and our planet.
So as long as they're well educated.
Yeah, they're well educated enough on how to do and everything. They would. I feel like yeah.
Now I don't disagree with that. I would in fact say that I do agree with that. But at the same time, I feel like there are many necessary steps we'd have to take to integrate these aliens into our society after we break them out of Area 51, of course, and, you know, tear up on those cheeks just a little bit. Okay, so
get some alien human hybrids going.
So to kind of close this little session up a little bit, you know, to segue into our next topic. You would clap the alien cheeks?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially if they look like the ones off of Avatar, like the big tall blue alien.
So you want to have sex with a giant blue alien?
That'd be pretty nice.
Specifically, or just any alien?
Any alien.
But preferably a large blue alien.
Yeah, why not?
I can't say that I would want to have sex necessarily with the aliens from Avatar. But I feel like I would be down to clap alien cheeks. And me and my wife, Alina, have discussed this. And she said that she would be alright if I clapped alien cheeks at least just one time.
I'm single. I could do it all the time. Just
to find out what it's like. And I feel like I would also be okay with her, you know, giving an alien the little go-around, you know? Now, I don't know if I'd be comfortable having sex with a male alien. I don't think I would be, unless maybe he was attractive and had a vagina. Then, I might take interest in it. But unless that all of those...
Don't assume their gender. You never know what they are.
I mean, unless all those little tick marks were like, you know, checked, I don't know. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
But I would be down to clap the alien cheeks. Now, there are many fetishes, you know, aliens. But our next topic is dealing with a different fetish, and that is furries. And I don't necessarily think that furries are a bad thing for our society. Now, you know, of course, I'm not a furry. I would never be a furry. I'm not attracted to animals. I don't get that. I don't really understand the thought process behind wanting to be an animal or have sex with other people dressed as animals. But I think that they're doing something great for our society. Now, before you say, Alec, you're wrong. Furries are terrible. They're weird. You know, they're people that dress up like animals and do things that I don't want to talk about right now. And I would say, you're right, you know, but hear me out. Just hear me out for one solid second. Okay, now furries, they've become much more popular in the past few years, I would say, right, CJ? So
I was with one for a good bit.
Yeah, so CJ is actually the master of this topic. He's going to be talking a lot more on the subject. So, you know, furries are starting to step out into the open world, and they're saying, hey, we're here. We're furry, get used to it. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind it. That's their business. Now, it's just, it is odd to me. All right, but what they do is their business, and that is not necessarily, anything that I should have a say in. But since they are starting to step into the spotlight a bit, we're getting more of an opportunity as a society to step in and say, hey, I want to be part of that. Which, is making sort of the more odd people in our society be like, hey, I'm into that. And we're kind of weeding the weird people out into these specific groups. Because, as I would say, a mostly normal person, I don't know if I could even say that. But, as mostly a normal person, I would say I'm not into that. I don't want to reproduce with somebody that dresses up as an animal. Now, these people, we can pick them out and we can point them out and we can say, hey, these people like to do this, and they will say it openly. So now you're not going to get stuck into a relationship with somebody that likes to dress up like an animal. You're not going to find out years later because they're ashamed of it. They're going to tell you now, and they're going to tell you up front. They have
not all the time. I waited a bit for her to tell me, or I kind of got the hang of it to where I kind of figured it out.
Now, I would say in the majority of situations, these people are
she pretty much told me straight up
are
after a bit.
Joining little groups.
We figured it out together.
Yeah, so, but you did know.
Yeah.
So, it's become a thing where people are going to tell you, and people that are weird or into weird things like this are going to tell you that they're into them. And we don't have to find out later on. You don't end up accidentally reproducing with these people. And I feel like these people are less likely to reproduce. So we're not going to have as many weird people into these things as we have before. I don't feel like. I feel like we're going to weed out the weaker genes. And in this sense, I would say the weaker genes are furries. We're going to weed them out, and eventually, hopefully, they're going to stop producing, and we won't have furries in our society. Now, you can argue that this probably isn't down to genetics, right?
Going back to the last subject, we got to think about aliens. The alien cheeks and the furries are almost like the same. You got to respect the aliens like you got to respect the furries.
But the aliens can't help that they're aliens. These
furries
people
can't help that they're furries.
Well, that's part of what I'm getting into is, like, do you think that on some, like, basic genetic level, I'm not saying that they're born furries, but I'm sure that in somewhere in their genes, it's like, hey, you're kind of weird, you're not like a normal person, here's some weird things for you to get into. Like, go find something that's kind of odd, right? So, do you think that, like, they can't help being furries? Because then I would argue that if they couldn't help it, like, if it was like being gay, you can't help if you're gay or not.
We're both happily with two gay dads.
So
my dad's gay and Alec's dad's gay.
So
and we're both straight.
If you don't know, my father's gay. He has a husband. That's never been a problem with me. I love my dad and his husband Jamie, who is also like my other father. And CJ also has a gay father.
Which I love. Yeah. One of the best things that's ever happened to me.
Yeah, so we're not gay because of it, but we do like to joke that we're half gay because of it, because we've both
experienced.
Yeah, we've both experienced it.
And we're both.
I would assume that CJ, like me, has been bullied for having a gay dad because being gay was not such an open thing back when we were kids. Kids will make fun of you for whatever they can. So we like to argue, like, make jokes that we're half gay. And together, I don't know
one whole half gay person.
Yes. I don't know if you're good at math, but if you take two halves and put them together, they're whole. So me and CJ together make a whole gay person. But getting back to the furry thing, I would argue that they can help from being a furry. I think they have certain genes in them that tell them to act out and be weird in different ways, but I don't think that necessarily they're like, I'm born to be a furry, right? But we are weeding the genes out that make
like Hitler.
You weird.
The Hitler of furries.
I am the furry Hitler. Now... now, one could argue that maybe anybody could be a furry. Maybe it's just things that you're exposed to as a child, right? Maybe you see, like, I don't know. Maybe you're into like a cat person when you're growing up. You've seen Aristocats.
Or you have a neighbor that's an old lady that has 70,000 cats,
yeah.
and you're like,
And you think your old neighbor lady's hot. You have an old person fetish, and you associate her being hot with having all those cats, so then you think the cats are hot. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. But I feel like ultimately we're gonna be getting rid of furries in some sense, because we're weeding it out. We're making it more possible to tell out the weirdos from more normal people, and you could argue that nobody is really normal.
No, we all gotta be weird.
Some people might be into other odd things, like some BDSM fetishes.
Hey,
maybe
I'm a lusty person. Some BDSM is nice.
Maybe you see, CJ's very open about it because of the society that we're beginning to live in now. Now, I feel like it's just being more open, and you can tell the weirdos from the more normal people, so that you're not going to get trapped in a relationship with somebody who 3 years down the road is going to say, hey, I think I want to dress up like our neighbor's dog, and I want you to pound me down like you did that fucking 40-ounce beer last night. Like, I feel like it's becoming more easy to avoid that. And I for one would like to thank the furries for being more open and being, saying, hey, this is who I am. This is who I am. Accept me. And that way I can say, no, I don't accept you, but now I know to not associate with you. So thank you to all the furries out there. I do appreciate it. It's now, I don't hate furries.
I've looked up furry conventions and stuff because my ex wanted to go to a whole bunch. I've looked them up. Some of them are weird, but they're not all about sex. People like to dress up as animals. That's just their lifestyle, if that's how you like to
So would you compare furries to being almost like cosplayers then?
Yes, in a sense, kind of.
So you don't think that being a furry is all about sex, but would you say that sex is like a detrimental part to being a furry in that community? Do you think that it is a necessity, and it's just a smaller part to play in it, or would you say what would you say on that?
I mean, it was more of her lifestyle. I mean, she loved going out, not as just with sex, in active of it, but she would just like to go out and wear a collar and a leash. Not a leash, but she would wear a collar, ears, and a tail. Surprisingly, a lot of people were actually cool with. People would actually want to take a picture of her, almost kind of like a dog. And they'd be like, oh, could I get a picture of you in your cute little outfit? A lot of people would, surprisingly.
Now, do you think that they genuinely thought she was cute, or do you think those were maybe people with furry fetishes in disguise that later wanted to use that material for self-pleasure?
I mean, maybe they could have, but I mean, you never know.
Now, okay, so as we kind of briefly went over it, CJ has experience in the furry community because CJ has dated a girl that was in fact a furry. Now, CJ, I'd like you to tell me a little more, maybe just some of the experiences you had. Now, let's not get too raunchy here, we've already talked about clapping alien cheeks. Let's talk about, we don't have to just talk about what it's like to clap furry cheeks, but what is it like living with the furry? Are there any things different about, how you treat them, about the things that you do together? Did she like to be like pet like a dog? Maybe just open up and give us an idea of what it's like to be with somebody that is a furry, and why you decided to do it. What made you want to be with a furry? Was it... Now, I know that you don't have a furry fetish. You just liked the girl for herself. But, did you end up finding some pleasure in, like, her being a furry? I'm interested to know, and I think all of our listeners would be interested to know. So, CJ, just open up and tell us a little bit about what it was like being with a furry.
I mean, I thought it wasn't bad. I mean, again, I'm not a person to judge on how you act or what your lust is or all that stuff. So, I mean, I'll respect you just the way you are, for who you are. And yeah, she did like to be petted and stuff like that, kind of like an animal. I mean, she always wanted to get a leash and be like pulled around in the house like a dog, or a cat. But she also did other animals. Like, she had a whole bunch of set of outfits of cats, dogs, foxes, pandas.
Did you find yourself maybe enjoying, maybe pulling her around on a leash? Because,
I mean, we didn't do that. I never personally did that, but that's what she wanted.
Now, I feel like stuff like that might pertain to people that are into some, like, BDSM things, which, I don't have really any experience in. So, would you say that, like, maybe that pertained to you because you enjoy some aspects of that? Do you think some of them kind of carried over and you found it enjoying it because of that? Or, do you think maybe the furry community's onto something?
I don't know if they're onto something. I mean, that's just the way they live and how they like to live. And that girl I really did love for a really long time, but I mean, it just didn't work out on personal situations that we had. But that's a whole other topic that we don't have to get into. But no, the furry thing, you kind of get in. I mean, you don't really get into it per se. You just it never kind of breaks down the relationship. You always find something new about the other person. You still learn more and more about the person. I mean, in general, every day.
So, do you feel like your relationship with her had a different, like, foundation and structure than, like, a normal relationship? Do you, like, did you find it much different, like, in the base aspect of it? Instead of just being like, this is my girlfriend, was it almost like this is my girlfriend, but at the same time she is like an animal? Or was that more of like I don't really know how to explain it. Was it more of a thing that she was into, or did you find yourself getting into it because she was into it?
I mean, I think I found myself kind of getting into it with her because she would wear her tail ears and stuff a lot, and I thought it was really cute. I didn't think it was... I mean, I thought it was really cute and funny, and not really funny, but adorable. And sexy at sometimes. But, no, the dating aspect is completely the same as a normal relationship, because other than she would come to school with ears and a tail on, and I would have people refer her, I'd be like, I'm dating this person, and they'll be like, the girl with the ears and the tails. I'll be like, yeah, and they'll be like, okay. And no, not a lot of people said it was weird, but I mean, some people said it was. You'd have your different opinions on it, of course, like always. But no, it's not really. It's pretty much all the same concept of having a regular relationship, just with your partner kind of acting like a animal sometimes.
So, CJ, to clarify, you never had any like bias or lust for furries or furry nature before this relationship, did you?
No, but she was also my first love, and we were together for a really long time.
Now,
and she was really my first relationship, so we both kind of, I think that's why we stuck on to getting used to each other, and used to each other's.
Now, it's
lust. And
yeah, there
like,
you go,
yeah,
CJ.
stuff.
You found an attraction to each other because it's like your first relationship. You know, you hold on to that. You go after it pretty hard. Now, do you find yourself maybe being attracted to some furry type things now because of that? Because your first love or relationship or whatever you may have it was a furry. Do you find yourself kind of being attracted to some of those things, or do you feel like you've left it behind with her? Do you feel like it was something that you were willing to do with her and experience with her, or do you feel like it kind of maybe opened up something else inside of you to where you're like, I'm okay with this?
No, I mean, I'm completely okay with it. The way you want to live is the way you want to live, and if you get past that and you love the person the way they are, you'll get used to the way they act and the way what they love, and you'll have to find a way into it anyway. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely, if I had another girl that was a furry come into my life and all that stuff, I mean, I would be okay with it, because I mean, I was with it before, as I was just never into the full animal cosplay,
now
like
CJ,
furry outfits.
I almost feel like you're being too reasonable here, because my initial intent was to go in here and act as if these were not people, like to act as if they were the left-handed people of society and to just stomp on them. But you're almost starting to make me feel bad for shitting on these furries. Now, CJ, would you have sex with a furry that was in a complete fur suit, is what I believe it's called? Would you be willing to do that, or do you think that's maybe a step too far for you? I have my own opinions on this, but what do you think? Would you be okay with it?
I mean, for me, I think that would be going a little bit too far. I was always okay with an ears and a tail.
So that's about as far as you're gonna go.
Yeah, ears, tail, collar, and a leash, because I mean, I was into BDSM and bondage and stuff too, so I mean, that kind of looped in with it.
So okay, I respect that, CJ. Now, I can say I've had this conversation with CJ, and I'm about to open up. I am not attracted to furries in whatever manner. I think that they're kind of odd, and while respecting their decision to do whatever they want, I think it's weird, and I don't completely agree with it. Now, whatever they do with their bodies is their business, and quite frankly, not mine. But at the same time, I don't necessarily agree with it. I think it's odd. I think it is unnatural to want to have sex with an animal. But with that being said, if I had not performed any sexual acts in a long time, say I was single, I hadn't performed any sexual acts, I might find myself with a furry if there were no other options to to release myself onto, because everybody has needs. But I can't say that I would be attracted or necessarily even enjoy it. But with that being said, I do find it kind of uncomfortable that somebody would dress up as an animal and want to perform sexual acts like that. But CJ, I do feel like you've opened my mind up to maybe furries aren't so terrible. Maybe they're just people like you and me. But until I come into a full interaction with a furry, it's hard for me to gauge that and be able to say for sure how I feel about them. Now, I feel like we started to stray a little off topic, this started with us saying, maybe furries aren't so terrible. Maybe they're doing us a favor because, they're like separating the weirdos from the normal people. Now, do you think that at any point us as a society will integrate furries into like normal life and like we'll be surrounded by furries?
I mean, we really almost kind of have. I mean, like I said, they have furry conventions and stuff, just like Comic-Con and stuff
true.
Like that.
That's
I mean,
very true.
Like I said, I've looked them up. She's always wanted to go to them, and I always told her I'd be willing to go with her to one if if she really wanted to go, me personally, I wouldn't dress up or anything, because that was something I wasn't really fully into, was me dressing up. But if she did, I would be okay with it. I mean, that was like, it almost really has kind of already integrated into a lot of it.
Now, we're kind of memeing on this. We're kind of joking around. We're just having a little bit of fun with talking about furries. This could definitely be a more serious conversation, of which I don't really want to participate in, because I don't necessarily care about furries all that much. I just want a little gaff. I want a little meme. I want something to joke about. But could a furry dress as something that isn't furry, as a bug or an animal that isn't furry, and still be considered a furry? Could a furry dress up as an armadillo and still be considered a furry? Would they be accepted into the little society that they have? Do you think they'd still be accepted, or do you think that since they would not be furry or like a mammal, do you think that they just wouldn't be accepted? Are parrot furries accepted in the community?
That I'm not really all for sure.
What if somebody wants to dress like a bug? What if you want to be a ladybug furry?
I mean, maybe they have a whole that might be a whole different thing that could.
So there are furries,
happen.
And maybe there are scalies. Maybe we could call them scalies
or insecties.
Insecties could be one. Now, what if you were a spider? I would be interested in seeing somebody dressed as a spider trying to take part in the furry community, because
they are kind of furry.
Well,
some.
I mean, arguably, yes. Some spiders are furry, but they're not, like, you wouldn't want to pet them. You would not want to pet a spider. In most cases, some people, of course, like spiders. I am not one of those people. So spiders could be furries. Now, would Spiderman be considered a furry? Because he's like a spider, but he's not necessarily dressed as a spider. Now, he is dressed up, though. Could Spider-Man be a scaly or an insecty?
He could possibly be an insecty.
That's true, but it would be hard for him to be one now that he has been taken out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because as of late, Sony and Marvel's deal that they had, where Spider-Man would appear in the MCU movies, has seemed to take a dive. It seemed to be broken apart because Marvel wanted to take, I believe it's 50% of the profits for the movies.
Yeah, of the new movies.
Compromising their original deal where they would only get 5%. And they would also get the revenue from toy sales, I believe it is, merchandise sales. So, I wanted to talk about that. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think Marvel is being greedy for wanting 50%? Or do you think that they should have stuck... Do you think they should have stuck to their original deal, or do you think they're being fair because they are producing these movies? What do you think, CJ?
I mean, at this point, Marvel is owned by Disney, and Disney has a crap ton of money. And Sony, they are a big company, but not as much as Disney. So if Marvel is getting money also from Disney, they're making the money off of both of them, the Marvel itself and Disney. So I feel like Sony should maybe have its own chance when getting maybe not 50-50, and maybe not doing 950 to
maybe
5,
coming to a compromise between the two.
Yeah, and maybe doing like a 30 70, a 30-70.
Okay, I respect that. Now, I feel like Marvel should have abided to the original deal because that's what they had accepted.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really have any bias per se between Disney or Sony. But I do have to say that I enjoy the Marvel movies that that Disney's put out.
They are they are very good movies.
I'm a very big fan of the MCU. More so, I'd say, than the movies that Sony has produced. I do like the original Spider-Man movies, all three, even though Spider-Man 3 is very rough and very hard rewatch.
I disagree that one. I don't like the first three Spider-Man movies.
You don't like the first three Spider-Man? That's a very controversial thing to say, CJ.
I did not like the first three.
What basis do you have for not liking those movies?
I just think Spider-Man should have always been more of a teenager and not as an adult. They showed him more as an adult when they first showed the first Spider-Man movies.
I understand.
And Spider-Man's more of a goofy, silly teenager that just finds out that he has a power, and he's also very smart, and they didn't show that as much in the first three. They showed it, but they didn't show it as much. They took away that he built his spider.
So you're saying that they took away almost like his innocence and his smarts in the original Spider-Man
and
series.
Made it more dramatic and more relatable.
Now I understand that. I'm a big fan of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. It's kind of a sentimental thing for me because I grew up on these movies. They're the things I watched the most as a kid. I had all three of them on DVD, and I'd watch them regularly because I was just a humongous Spider-Man fan.
I was too, but I was never really that much into the movies, but they were the only ones out.
But I do understand where you're coming from because at the same time, it does kind of take away from Spider-Man in that aspect because Spider-Man is a teenager. He's dealing with teenager problems. He's smart. He's very smart. He designs his web shooters, his suit, and he has to deal with the death of Uncle Ben, and that's a big impact on him. In the fact that, he has a responsibility to do the things that he can, like that, whatever he can do, because he's been gifted with these powers. And I feel like the original Spider-Man movies do kind of delve away from that.
Sony's just kind of remaking Spider-Man over and over again, where Marvel's trying to actually expand his lifeline.
And now the newest iteration of Spider-Man with Tom Holland, I feel like they do miss the mark in some of those areas. I feel like he does have his innocence, but at the same time, he's intelligent. He's created his web shooters. He's smart, but at the same time, he's been given his suit by Tony Stark, and I don't feel like that shows off his brilliance or his intelligence. Now in the newest movie, I don't know if you've seen it, a small spoiler alert, but I don't know if I'd say it was necessarily a spoiler. He creates his newest suit.
I have not seen that one.
But at the same time, he uses Tony Stark's technology to do so. So at the same time, he's not 100% true to the comics, but I feel like in this newest iteration of Spider-Man, they've hit the nail on the head. I think this is about as close as we're going to get to a true
Spider-Man,
to the comics Spider-Man. But
because he's goofy, he's more the teenager, and he's just living life like everybody else.
Now, I believe that, from my understanding, they're going to continue these Spider-Man movies, but Sony is going to be producing them, and he's going to be in his own universe. He's not going to be in the MCU anymore. So do you feel like the Spider-Man can survive and do well on his own without the MCU movies, or do you think that him being in the MCU is what gave him that spark, that little sparkle, and really made his Spider-Man stand apart from the others?
I don't know if it was really all. I don't know if he'll be able to really stand out. I hope Sony does good with him, because Spider-Man has always been one of my most favorite Marvel heroes and Stan Lee's creations, and that's where I'm feeling that I hope they keep, is that he's still a Stan Lee creation, not a Sony creation, and they're gonna I'm hoping Sony's not gonna just we created Spider-Man, and they're not just gonna completely ruin his whole Marvel cinema aspect of himself.
Now, I do hope that that Marvel and Sony can renegotiate a deal, because I do enjoy him in those movies. I think they've done great things with Spider-Man in those movies, and it would be hard to explain canonically why these characters that have been in the past Spider-Man movies would no longer be showing up. But at the same time, I don't want Disney to own Spider-Man. I think that they need to continue to work out a deal, because I feel like it is extremely unhealthy for Disney to have this monopoly over all of Hollywood and all these creative like IPs. You know, they shouldn't be able to control all of these things. They already have Spider-Man and the MCU. They've created a humongous array. No, Venom was done by Sony.
Yeah, Venom was Sony.
Yeah, but you know, Marvel and Disney, Disney has this humongous like catalog of things
Star
that they
Wars,
own now, and
everything.
I feel like it would be unhealthy for our creative environment with movies and such if they, you know, had such a monopoly over it, because then we're going to be having PG-13 rated everything. You know, I feel like there's a darker side that needs to be explored with some of these things, like Venom. So I feel like it's important for
and Deadpool.
Yeah, well, they own Deadpool now.
Yeah, Sony does.
But they have said that they feel like there is a place for an R-rated Deadpool movie by Disney. Now, whether that's true or not, we'll have to wait and see. But I don't feel like it's healthy for them to own all of these. So I feel like it is 100% necessary for Sony and Marvel to work out another deal, because it's just, you know, we have to have multiple people doing different things, because otherwise we're gonna get sick of the same Marvel shtick. You know, the funny but kind of serious things that they do. There's a certain type of Marvel humor that's injected into all of those movies, and while I do enjoy it, you know, there might come a time when I don't enjoy it. Maybe I'll want something a little bit different. Maybe I'll want a little bit darker of a movie. And so far, Disney have not been able to show that they can do that. So I think that is absolutely necessary for Sony to hold on to the rights for Spider-Man.
Yeah, because ever since Sony did start owning Spider-Man, I mean, you got Venom, you're starting to see more Spider-Man villains.
Yeah,
and that's always a good thing, because I mean, we want to see more Spider-Man. But
absolutely.
I still feel like Marvel